Mr. Gilbert, as President of Qualcomm Europe, how are you going to help operators to capitalize on their 3G networks? Could you explain that to us?
Sure. I think for 3G to be successful, you have to be able to deliver across the entire value chain. Qualcomm's a great company for innovating and coming up with new technologies, but it also sees the importance of ensuring that those technologies go all the way through the value chain, by which I mean having a great idea is one thing, but turning it into a product that we will all pay for and be happy to pay for and use is quite another. So what we've been trying to do is help manufacturers of the base stations, for example, deliver the technology in a timely fashion and make it work with the mobile network operators to continue to evolve the technology, deliver it onto their network and optimize the networks, and then also deliver the handsets, the devices that can deliver to the subscriber the service. So what Qualcomm tries to do is invest in Europe by having, well, I guess we've got about 500 folk running around, engineering folk running around, helping the base station guys, the mobile operators deliver the networks, and then the handset manufacturers get tested on the network, make sure they work, so that we all can enjoy the service.
When you speak of diversity, what does it mean?
Well, if you think about when mobiles first came out, there were really very few companies that were pioneers in this space. I mean, here in Europe, obviously, you had a few of the European manufacturers with a few of the American companies, but there were less than 6 companies that were supplying you and I with handsets. They were very good at it, and they did very well. But we're 20 years on now, and we all want more choice. What Qualcomm has done is deliver more technology choice, but also through our licensing program, we've allowed new handset manufacturers to enter into the European market with new ideas, new price points, and help deliver much more choice to the consumer. So instead of having just 3 or 4 handset manufacturers, you've now got over 20 manufacturers of handsets. You've got over 140 devices to choose from. Some would say that's given us too much choice, it's difficult to choose what you want, but the reality is you can choose the device you want, the style you want, at the price point you want, and that's got to be better for the consumer.
How do you see the wireless industry evolving? What is the next big thing we should look at?
If we look to tomorrow, we're starting to see some really exciting developments. We've got beyond using the phone purely for voice and messaging. We now are starting to see it as a multi-service device. And so we've got the high-speed networks going in now, high-speed data networks going in now, that devices will be able to take advantage of that. You'll be able to do many more things with your handset than you could do previously. In fact, we're starting to see a convergence between the voice world and the data world. And we're going to see devices that are like mini computers, ultra-mobile PCs, that can really do many, many different things. We've developed the processor technology, a 1 gigahertz Snapdragon processor, that means that you can get all the processing power in a little device that you used to need a notebook for. We've also developed user interfaces that make it much easier to discover new services that are highly personalized to what I or you would be particularly interested in, rather than just a barrage of different services. We might want to be in different modes. We might be out for the evening in entertainment mode, and we're more interested in a location-based service that can tell us where the nearest restaurant is, or what's on at the theatre, or whether there's cinema tickets available. We might be interested in knowing whether our friends and relatives are in the area with us, who we could just instant message and say, why don't you join me down the restaurant? But then we might want to alter it to health mode, where we want to go out and do a run, we want to check our progress, how much exercise we're doing, what's our cardiovascular state. Mobile phones of the future will be able to do all of these things, both because of the underlying infrastructure of high-speed data, the internal processing power, but also the dynamic user interface.
So thank you very much. That's a bright future to look into, and I wish you well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you.